1 Corinthians 14:12, Paul says, try to excel in the gifts that build up the church. So you've got this idea of edification, strengthening, building up over and over and over throughout Scripture. That is the prime directive. And so when he says each one has, he's talking about how to use your spoken spiritual gift in a church meeting. Now, the first gift he deals with in this short list that we've got is music. Each one has a hymn. Who has a hymn? Each one of the brothers gifted in music has a hymn. That's the context. The Greek word for hymn is psalmos, and it means a song of praise, quite simply. But there's also a one another aspect, even to the music, among those of us who aren't so gifted musically. It says in Ephesians 5:19 that the whole church should be speaking to one another. How? In psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody with your heart to the Lord. This is similar to what is written in Colossians 3:16, teaching and admonishing one another how? With psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with thankfulness in your hearts to the Lord. So we see that even though in Corinthians he's dealing with people who are gifted in music, equipping, edifying the church through that, there's also a one another aspect to the music. And so what we see here is some degree of spontaneity. It doesn't have to be like professional musicians in an orchestra performing. Of course, excellence is always good, but it's not a show. The other side of that is Psalm 95, verse 2 says, let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. Let us make a joyful noise to him with songs of praise. So there's this balance between a professional performance and a joyful noise. God, of course, looks at the heart. What's the prime directive? It's got to be edifying. All things must be done for building up. This is, again, where pastors are needed. What builds up one church in music might not build up another. Types of music vary from culture to culture, time to time. Elders should have a finger on the pulse of what's best for their church. Also, the words need to be true. It's not going to build people up if the theology expressed in the song is contrary to Scripture. I might even suggest in a modern setting that sometimes the music is too loud. If the music is amplified by the musicians so loudly that the congregation can't hear itself singing, it's too loud. That tends to squelch the one another aspect of it. So the musicians are to encourage the whole church singing, not squelch it by being too loud. So again, it's not a performance. It's a place for people to get up and sing a new song unto the Lord. That's fine, but it shouldn't fundamentally be like going to a concert. There should be this principle of participation.